I'm going to finish that garden tour that we started over a week ago. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's kind of early in the morning. I mean, it's not quite 7 o'clock yet. The world is still trying to wake up for a Saturday morning. I've been gone for another week. I didn't get to finish the garden tour that we started a week ago. I took care of my patio. We took care of what I'm working on over at the neighbors. But y'all, we didn't talk about the main garden right here. And it's grown up even more since I've been gone. So we're going to focus on that today. I'm not going to harvest. I actually haven't even been in the garden yet since I left a week ago for a business trip. But we're going to get over in here. We're going to see what's going on. And you're coming with us. One of the first things that I see is that it's really grown up and the grass is trying to take over. But we are not going to let those weeds win. And I always say we're not going to let the weeds win. But before I get into full garden, I want to show you something kind of interesting. So let's start at this one. In this pot right here, that's just on the outside of my garage, these petunias volunteered all over my property. And so I picked them up. I put them in pots. I have some here. I have some over by the door, way over there. Now, these are not the type petunias I should be using in these containers, but this is what God gave me free. And then we do have some annuals growing in there as well, but the petunias took over the annuals. But look at this one here, y'all. So we got our annual in there, which, by the way, that's a very pretty plant. Don't ask me what it is. I have no idea what it is. Mom picked it up from the big box store, and I don't know. From my understanding, it's a perennial if you live in a warm area, and it's an annual if you live in Southwest Ohio, Zone 6B. But that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you this right here. Y'all, this is a petunia right here growing out of the crack of, of the ground, right? Because my asphalt right here is split. So it's growing out of a crack in the asphalt. And y'all know we left it. Y'all know I left it. I couldn't pull that flower up, let it do its job. And but it's growing out of the ground. And I haven't grown petunias in this area right here probably for about 4 or more years, but they come back here every year, which is interesting. But anyway, that's the little bit on the flowers I wanted to show you. And I have a picture of some of the flowers that's around the front of the house that were so pretty, and they only bloom like that for a couple of weeks. Now that we're done talking about flowers, let's jump in here. I don't even know where to start, y'all. I don't know where to start. I think we'll start on the outside and work our way in. I continue to enjoy blackberries, and y'all will get out here early or later today, and we're going to pick quite a few of the blackberries that are over in this space right here. They are super sweet. This is a thornless blackberry, and there is another flushing getting ready to come on right there. So we're going to continue to enjoy these all season long as they'll keep coming in, that is. But this is where we're really starting right here. So I ran out of stakes to kind of hold up my tomato plants, but these are Cherokee Purple plants. And there are tomatoes on there. They are growing in this fire ring right here. I also put sunflowers in here, but the sunflowers didn't make it. Uh-oh. I see a tomato plant that didn't make it. Aw. So this one broke off. It's broke off. It's got a tomato on it, but it broke off back here down at the stem right here. So there it is. It broke off. I'm not expecting that tomato to survive, but we're going to stick this in the ground. Let's see what happens. I just stuck it in the ground. All right, so here's the other plant. I'm going to have to do a better job of holding them up. That's the first thing I know we're going to have to do. Anyway, in the front of the tomatoes, I have lavender growing. This is the first year I've grown lavender, but it's doing really well in the garden. Nothing's bloomed yet, but I think we're getting close. I think so. And then I just got some flowers in the back. Moving on over here, I got oregano. It's already seeding because you see the little flowers on the end. I got oregano in a couple places. I do need to start harvesting again all of the different herbs that I have. Same thing, y'all, that sage has been growing there for 3 years, maybe 4, I've lost count. Chives are next in line right here. And then the thyme was looking bad for a long time, but now the thyme is doing really, really well. We need to get that harvested as well. Moving over to the next bed here. This is the second round of potatoes. And y'all, my second round never does as well as the first round. So let's start there. Anything that I get on this second round is a plus, it's a win. And I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 4 first round potato videos. We've harvested over 100 pounds already. And I think the most that I've ever harvested, I kept telling everybody it was right at 100 pounds. It's actually 120 pounds. And I'm at that number right now. And I still have first round potatoes out here, which you'll see in the garden here in just a moment. So we're doing really well with potatoes. I am going to start preserving them really soon. And of course, I'll video me preserving those potatoes. Now, if you need to do yours now and you're looking for a good video, I got a whole bunch of preserving videos out there already. And there's several out there with potatoes in them. All you got to do is go to my cooking and preserving playlist, and that's where you'll find all of those videos. Now, also in this bed, after I removed all of the potatoes, planted the second round, I also started a second round of squash right here. It's growing. I put that in 2 weeks ago, I think. And then in the back, I started another round of cucumbers back there. And I put back there National Jabai and National Pickling cucumbers. So Jabai are long slicing cucumbers. Here's a picture of it. And National is a pickling cucumber. And there's a picture of that one as well. So we're going to use that back side. I put it at an angle so it could get as much of the sunlight as possible, because once the sun makes it over there, it's going to be shaded out. And that's usually pretty late in the evening. But this bed has been completely replanted. Here's first round potatoes that I need to get out, y'all. I need to take care of the rest of these potatoes. I got first round potatoes here, in this box here, and then over around this corner, there are more potatoes over there in that box, and then there's a bag on the other side of it. And that's still not it. There's 2 more bags over there. So we got to get these first round of potatoes out. Moving on down, we harvested all of these onion together. And I never went back and planted anything else. We'll do that, if not today, tomorrow, very soon. There's one onion I didn't harvest because the neck of this onion is still solid. So we're going to let that one go as long as it wants to go. We'll see how big it gets. I did plant lettuce several weeks ago behind the onion, and they're starting to come in. That's a flashy butter gem there. That's a May Queen. And Mom said while I was gone this week, she harvested enough lettuce for 2 days, I believe is what she told me. And now the lettuce is really starting to come in. So I don't believe I'm going to have a shortage of lettuce anymore. And we're almost out of the hottest days of summer. So I think I'm going to have better luck growing lettuce from now until it's so cold it won't grow. I know this front bed looks like a whole bunch of weeds, and there's a whole bunch of weeds in there. But in the front, I harvested quite a few of the onion, and I need to go in and harvest the rest of those white onion. I've been harvesting from this area right here carrots now for over a month. Only harvesting what I need is how I've been going about it. And just behind the carrots back here, actually, let me go. I need to fix this. Let me get it fixed, then we'll talk about it. Now, back here, I have melons growing. I think they're all honey rock now, just to be honest with you. And there are little melons, like there's one there. I saw another one somewhere. Anyway, there are little melons growing on here. The little bees have been taking care of things and making sure that they're getting pollinated. Now, I planted these melon the same time that I planted the other melon, but they were shaded out by the plants that I had growing on the other side. And as soon as I harvested the plants that were growing over here, they took off. And this is actually a good thing because it means that my melon plants are going to be staggered as they're coming in. So I'm not getting hit with, like 30 melons, in one weekend. I'll be able to extend that harvest just a bit. So I'm happy that they are a little farther behind the other beds. Now I need to get back over here. I need to clean that grass up right there. And I already know I'm going to put yellow wax beans in that spot. And y'all have seen me pull these weeds up. Y'all, the weeds are real. We'll get over there one day, just not today, and keep working on those weeds. Right here, I have white cucumbers growing right here. These are called White Wonder. And y'all, it rained a lot while I was gone. And my garden had turned quite yellow in a few spots, but with all of that rain that we've gotten, it's looking really nice and healthy again. There are tons of little cucumbers on here. Now, I only have white cucumbers growing in these little pots here. This one, that one right there, and then there's a third one behind it back there. And that's the only place I got the little white cucumbers growing. Oh, I take that back. There is one other place. Miss Pam took care of the watering of the garden for me, even though Mom was here, because she enjoys doing that. And so, again, Miss Pam just does the right thing when it comes to watering. I have Landreth beans growing in this bed. I think they're Landreth. Yeah. Landreth beans growing in the front here. We've been harvesting them now for 2 or 3 weeks. In the back, I have my tomatillos. And you see the little things? There are little tomatillos growing inside those. So that's a good thing. I'm going to need to come back and give them a little better support because, y'all, I haven't been supporting them at all. Y'all, we've been harvesting these. They're called green giant tomatoes. And we have been harvesting those. This one is stuck. For Mom to cook fried green tomatoes that I don't like, but she does. It looks like my cucumbers have made their way over here. Here's a cucumber plant coming all the way over here from that container there, and that's fine, long as it's being supported. I also have what's called the great white. It's doing okay over here. We've been harvesting Cherokee Purples over here. Trying to think what else is over here. This bed's supposed to be more specialty type stuff. That's why you see so many of the tomatillos over here. Now, I haven't harvested any tomatillos yet. All right, we're going to keep moving down. As you can see, this box of potatoes is done, and there's a potato above ground. I don't think the sun's going to shine today, but if you recall, I had a box of potatoes. The box started giving away on me before it was time, so I put a box on top of the box to give them a little more support, but we will have to take care of that real soon. In this planter behind, this actually gave me one of my first tomatoes this year, and that is the Hungarian heart. Now this plant, y'all, this plant is pretty much done. It gave me a whole bunch of tomatoes, and now it says, I'm done. But if you look down here, I got some new plants coming off the side of that plant. So I'm hoping it's going to give me some new greenery and give me a second round of some really nice tomatoes. Now there's some other tomatoes growing in here, but they're really coming from the bed. They came over and they're using that trellis to hold themselves up. In the front right here, these are green beans. We've been harvesting them for a few weeks. Now, bush beans don't last all summer. You get a couple really nice big flushings, and that's really it. And so we might be coming to the end of these green beans. I have more onion growing right here, and I think they're almost done. I think they're almost going to do all that they're going to do. And in the back of this bed here, I have all slicing tomatoes. And there's some pretty nice sized ones back here too, y'all. And while I was away and without you because it was raining, I harvested quite a few things. So let's take a break and let me show you all the things that I've harvested without you over the last couple of weeks. Even when you think you've already harvested everything possible in the garden, and you says, hey, let me just run out. I got everything yesterday. Let's do a quick check. And you walk away with this. I'm gonna have to get my eyes checked, y'all. Look at all those tomatoes. And a handful of side shoots of broccoli, and I know I picked every one of them. I don't know where that came from. Cucumbers, and then of course a few onion. And they're all sweet onions, many different varieties. There's yellow, there's white, there's red, there's blush. Just gorgeous, gorgeous. When you don't have a lot of time, but you need to get the harvest done, you do it real quick and you end up with something like this right here. I think that is a beautiful 10 minutes in the garden, y'all. Yellow squash, zucchini, slicing tomatoes, right? Cucumbers, all different kinds of tomatoes. They're gold tomatoes, red tomatoes. Look at that tomato. Y'all, that's a good 10, 15 minutes in the garden. I gave all the cucumbers away except for these few. And I've given away probably half of the tomatoes that you see here. And I enjoyed a whole bunch too. Those were some really nice tomatoes, among other things, right? And in there you see my mom also did some harvesting as well. But the tomatoes are coming in. I really like to harvest them, and while I'm harvesting, I like to say, that's the super steak, right? But I haven't been able to do that this year with my travel schedule. But these are looking really, really good. This right here, that's going to be a Korean long when it finally gets ready to finish. Y'all, I didn't even prune my tomatoes this year because I wasn't here. So I can't be mad at anything over here, but everything's nice and green. And for the most part, happy. I got to find a way to support some of this before I lose it altogether. I can see it's already broken on the end right here. So we will have to get this supported in some way. Just not right now. I mentioned 2 more boxes or a box and a bag of potatoes over here. We'll probably do all 6, 7 containers of potatoes at the same time when I get to them. In this bed right here, I got yellow squash, and there are some in there. Now, my yellow squash has not done as well as my zucchini, but the yellow squash over at the community garden has been going mad crazy. So today we plan on doing a tomato swap. They're going to bring over some yellow squash and we're going to give them some zucchini. They have too much yellow, not enough zucchini. So, hey, we're going to do a little bartering, y'all. Now, here's the next container. So this is my GreenStalk vertical planter right here. And in the top, I have carrots. I need to get every last one of those carrots out. I need to, y'all. They're done. I just don't have time to get to them right now. And below the carrots, I put in some lettuce. This is old lettuce that I need to get out. There's some more lettuce right there. And then below that, y'all, these are where my herbs are. And these herbs, they actually have a special place in my heart. I have mentioned I am working on a project. That project is going to release on August 25th. I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, but in there, I am turning herbs into botanical products that we can enjoy. And you'll hear a lot more about it very soon. But the herbs in here reminds me of that work that we're doing. So let me share the herbs. So this is stevia. Yeah, I got this plant for pretty much nothing, but I got stevia right here. Stevia is a sweetener substitute, but it's a natural sweetener substitute. I got my lemon verbena. Y'all, I've been drinking lemon verbena tea and it's been so good. I got more stevia right here. And y'all, I mean, I paid less than $1 a plant and they've come back like gangbusters. They're doing really well. I mentioned that I have thyme, but this is lemon thyme right here. I've never actually grown lemon thyme before. So this is going to be interesting. It does have a lemon scent to it. Not that traditional thyme. I can smell the traditional thyme, but it's got a lemony smell to it as well. We'll just keep moving around. More stevia and more lemon thyme. And then down at the bottom, y'all, I was really concerned about this chamomile. Let me get it turned back around. So I don't forget how many pockets now of chamomile, and it was so thick. I was sure that I wasn't going to get any chamomile flowers, but guess what, y'all? Y'all see that right there? I do have some flowers on my chamomile, so I'm super happy about that. Chamomile is going in my teas. Oh my goodness, it's going in a lot of my teas these days. And y'all, I haven't always drunk tea, but I tell you what, I am enjoying a nice caffeine-free, calming, relaxing tea at least 3 times a week before bed, which is a nice way to kind of calm the body down. That's one of the things that I've been doing. And caffeine-free, y'all. So we don't have to worry about that caffeine spike that a lot of teas give you. There's no caffeine in this tea that I've been drinking. I got rosemary right here. Beautiful plant to cook with, but it's also a beautiful essential oil when you distill it. More lemon verbena and more chamomile, and the flowers are there. So as I mentioned, this GreenStalk is kind of a hint to what's to come in this new project that I've been working on. Let's keep moving through the garden. In this next bed here, I thought I was growing shelling peas that, you let them grow, and then once you harvest the dried pod, there is a bean in there called tiger's eye. Well, y'all, they look so good as green beans. We've been harvesting them as green beans. So I won't get any shelling beans out of these, but this is what they look like. And in my garden, y'all, they're never going to dry. So just to be honest, we've been picking them as green beans, which wasn't the initial plan. This is that second container of white cucumbers. There are cucumbers on here. I'm having a hard time getting it to grow up like that one over there. It's doing fine, but this one is kind of hanging low to the ground, and that's okay. It can hang low to the ground. I'm not mad. I'll let it hang low to the ground as long as it keeps giving me cucumbers. I believe these are called silver slicers in this one here. There are the 2 other containers of potatoes that we need to take care of. And y'all, the interesting thing is these are potatoes from last year. I planted, I know, more than one, but there's only one growing in here. So it's had plenty of room. So hopefully we'll get some really nice sized potatoes in there. Now this is also the one that the skunks were digging up for sure. And then there's another one over there. That one over there says that it is Desiree. So that is still last year's potatoes though. And so I didn't buy seed potatoes. Those are my potatoes that we replanted. And then we get over here to this GreenStalk planter. It's kind of hard to get in here because of the corn, but we'll talk about that corn in just a minute. In the top, I had some really big green peppers. Mom said, yeah, it needed to be harvested. It was looking at her. So I had two really nice big green bell peppers up there. That particular plant is at least 2, if not 3 years old. I can tell by the stem itself. And I did bring this one from the indoor grow space. There's some teeny little golden tomatoes there. And here's the variety. I don't think I've been telling people the variety of that tomato. And then we start working our way down. Cucumbers are in here. This is also my hot or spicy pepper, GreenStalk. So these are all cayenne peppers right here that's turned red. So I need to get out here and harvest those cayenne peppers. I got serrano growing in here as well. And they're just now trying to turn as well. Just keep going down. I have, there's some more cayenne peppers. There's also celery growing in here that need to get harvested. And this right here is my Anaheim chili pepper. Y'all, it's doing well. I mean, it's doing really well. It is finally starting to turn. And I also have, let me go back the other way. Let's figure out how to get to it. I'm trying to grow okra over here. And so there is okra right there. It's tiny, but it's there. There's the other one. Yep, it's there. It's just small. And in the very, very bottom, y'all, see that down there? That down there is lavender. And it's honestly getting shaded out. Once I get these 2 potato plants out the way, I think that lavender will be much happier. All right, so I'm going to just pan next door, y'all. Look at this corn. Oh my goodness. This corn, now granted, it is in a 17-inch metal raised bed, but y'all, this corn is going crazy. And in a nice way, right? So I planted it late, so I was really concerned on whether or not we were going to get anything out of that corn. And it's doing so well. Now, I don't see any tassels or anything like that yet. And yes, we're in early August, but maybe it will do something for us. If not, I didn't lose anything but what? A $2 pack of seeds? Well, here's the seed pack right here. It's called Bilicious sweet corn. So if I don't get anything, y'all, what did I lose? $2.50. In the front of this bed right here, I did have onion. We harvested all of that. But I didn't replant this space because I feel like the corn's going to shade it out. So I held off on doing anything in that space for now. Turning on around here, this cucumber is called the White Angel. And when they're ready, y'all, they look more like a big old egg. How they are shaped, but it's called the White Angel. I don't see anything on here at the moment. I see some powdery mildew on it, but I also see some healthy leaves as well. Now these are my phenomena. Yeah, I don't forgot. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's kind of a black and white speckety pea. And these look like peas. So I'm expecting these to be kind of like a southern cow pea. This is what I thought the other one was. And these little pieces right here, y'all, this is where the little peas or the shelling beans will grow. They're going to grow in these little pieces right here. So they're doing well. Some of them are much bigger than others. So that looks good. That looks really, really good. We'll look at this GreenStalk next. This is called Chocolate Miracle. And I didn't mean for that to be over here, but at the time I didn't have enough pepper, so I just put it over here since it needed a place to go. but we will harvest that one and get to taste it very soon. I've never grown that one before. This is my sweet pepper GreenStalk. So up in the top, I got some shishitos growing. I think that's, oh no, these are lunchbox sweet peppers right here. And they're doing really, really well. I do got shishitos up here too, y'all, though. I know what a shishito looks like. It looks just like this right here. They're doing well. Hopefully they can hold out another week because, yep, you guessed it, I got to go out of town for another week for work. So with all of my work travel right now, personal travel, I'm away from the garden a lot, but it's still doing really well when you got the right person taking care of it for you. These are some more snacking peppers right here, more shishitos, and I intentionally put peppers in the top that don't grow super big. Y'all, it rained and stormed all night last night, so there's water on everything. I'm gonna have to try to step back and show you because I'm getting soaked. So I got bell peppers growing right here. That's a nice big one right there. Here's another really, really big one, bell peppers. Now, bell peppers you can pick at any stage, y'all. You don't have to wait for them to turn some pretty color, but I like to let mine turn a pretty color. And this right here is a purple bell pepper. Moving on down, there's all kinds of stuff, y'all. These are thunderbolts right here. I'm just trying to keep them up so that they don't fall over. We have been harvesting a lot of paprikas. I think that is a, oh, this is a yellow monster. That's going to turn yellow. This is a giant Marconi right here. I don't have any paprikas to show you because we've been harvesting those. And y'all look at this one right here. Boy, it's kind of jammed in there, but that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful, I think it's a thunderbolt. Ah, look at that one, y'all. It's just starting to turn. Just starting to turn. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Look, 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 look. This one is ready, y'all. It's got striations on it, but that pepper right there is ready. So when I do harvest, we'll definitely be harvesting that one. And it's supposed to be a giant Marconi, but y'all, I don't think that's no giant Marconi. I think that's something else. Anyway, that is my sweet pepper GreenStalk. I have a volunteer tomato plant back here. That's Champagne Bubbles that volunteered in this space and is happy back here and growing wild and just grabbing and holding on to whatever it can to support itself. And I'm okay with that. I do have some tomatoes growing in that rolling tomato planter right there. And then I have 3 different types of cucumbers growing. It's supposed to be 4 in this one and that one over there. And y'all, they looked horrible when I left. And honestly, this one's looking a little better, but that one still looks pretty bad. But there are, I mentioned there's one other place with white cucumbers, and that's these right here. These little ones right here. They are called Honey Plus. And they were the first cucumbers to come in over at the neighbors as well. And then in this bed, I'm on the back side of it, but y'all, I got my white scallops growing over here. So I have green scallops, white scallops, and yellow scallops. And I have harvested off of each of them at least once, but scallops are growing in that bed of weeds because that's what it looks like, a bed of weeds. I do have tomatoes growing here. We've harvested 1 or 2 out of here so far. And then we get to this planter right here. Oh, somebody pulled my plants out. Miss Pam must have pulled them out. If they weren't looking good, Miss Pam cleans up a planter pretty quickly. If something looks dead, she's going to pull it out. But wow, there's a lot of plants missing though. These are my dwarf tomatoes. There's some there, another one right there. I've been harvesting the little ones in the top for a while now. But there's a lot of plants missing. I hope Miss Pam didn't pull them out too quickly. But there are some that are thriving though. We have plenty of tomatoes, y'all, don't misunderstand. Like look at that batch of them right there. If I can get the camera to focus. There we go. So that is my dwarf tomato planter. Y'all, from here, you can see that tomato that's blushing. You can see the red pepper down in the bottom right there. Now that planter's getting ready to start giving. This is the back side of the bed with the peas on it. There's a Paul Robeson in there that's ready. Let me see what else. I see the bed that we didn't talk about the back side. I need to go back. Anyway, most of the things in this bed right here were my cherry style tomatoes, and they've been giving for a long time now. I also have, let me find it here. These are called my black strawberries. They've been giving for a long time as well. Now we're going to backtrack because I did not talk about this bed right here. These are Queen of the Night tomatoes. And I have some, y'all, that are ready. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, that's Queen of the Night. These are Big Mamas, paste tomatoes. Big Mamas are paste tomatoes. Meaty, not a big seed cavity, not a whole bunch of the gel or jelly in it. And then this right here, y'all, this is called super sauce. Look at the size of that, y'all. It's as big as my hand. And it just fell off. Oh no. Y'all, this is called a super sauce tomato. And there's two over here. Now, I wasn't supposed to harvest y'all, so I'm going to have to stick this back in the bed right there. We'll just sit it right there. And we'll come back and get that later today. I've been harvesting opalka from this bed as well. And that rain last night did a number on a lot of these beds. So I'm going to have to make sure I get them supported properly before I head out of town in another day. So anyway, we'll leave it for now. We'll clean it up later. Now, back to where we were. I also have corn growing in this bed back here. Now, this corn back here is an early corn. I planted it, I don't know, a week or two later than I planted this corn here. So two different varieties. And some people are going to say, you're not supposed to plant two different varieties of corn together. I know, but y'all, corn is just for fun. I started getting the corn locally. At first it was like $10 for 12 ears, but now the spot where I normally get my corn from, where it's 25 cents a ear, for the last 3 weeks, we've been going in and getting at least a dozen and preparing it and freezing it and that kind of stuff. So we'll have corn all winter long. And we did that on, a week ago, Sunday. And we had corn for dinner. Y'all, I think that was the best corn I've ever had in my entire life. That corn was so good. And I paid 25 cents a ear. So yeah, I live in corn country. I don't have to grow this corn, but we're doing it for fun. Anyway, this tomato plant that's growing in this space right here, y'all, was a volunteer that I pulled out of the ground somewhere and I stuck it in here, and it is not properly being supported either. Nor is that one or this one over here. So there's 3 volunteers that I threw in here just to find them a home. And they have blooms. They have little bitty tomatoes on them. And I can't tell you what the plant actually is. And amongst all of this, y'all, I'm trying to still grow some more purple broccoli. I harvested some beautiful heads of purple broccoli, and I was hoping for side shoots. I don't think I could get that with the variety that I had. So when I went to pull them up, I cut them out, and then they started shooting up from the sides. So I left them just to see what would happen. But that bed is a jungle. It is a jungle. We did harvest onions from the front. Looks like there's one more onion in there amongst the weeds that's growing in the front. But a jungle. We'll come back to it later. This bed right here was the second round of potatoes that we planted, and they are blooming. See that right there? That means they're blooming. That means potatoes are forming down below. Now, as far as getting them to germinate, it's kind of spotty. There's nothing there, but I know I planted something in all those spots. I got purple Viking growing right here. So they're really, really spaced out. So people said I should space my potatoes a little farther apart. Well, I wasn't trying to do it, but we did it. So I think there's only maybe 5 in here, and I planted a lot more than that. And then you get to that jungle right there, y'all. That jungle of beans. I did plant beans in this space here. I did. Pole beans, as a matter of fact. I planted here we go. I planted a yellow wax pole bean on this side here. It was being shaded out by the potatoes. When I harvested the potatoes, they took off. They're doing well. They're happy. There's just not many of them. Now on this side right here, I did plant some more pole beans on this side, but I also had the volunteer rattlesnake green bean come in, and y'all, this is what I've been harvesting, rattlesnakes. Rattlesnake green beans. Y'all see them hanging? They have been very productive, and they volunteered and decided to come to the party all by themselves. They even volunteered over onto this one right here. And these are huge. They're pretty, they're long. Now, the one thing about these rattlesnake green beans, y'all, they old-fashioned green beans. You have to get the strings off of them. So when you're breaking your green beans, or at least the rattlesnake ones, you can't just break the end off. You need to break that end and pull it down the side to get that string out of it. I don't like stringy beans. That's why I didn't like the rattlesnake beans. But you know, hey, God provided and I will enjoy it. So rattlesnake green beans. And again, y'all, they're everywhere in places I didn't plan for them to be. And by the way, y'all, that's way too many beans in this little bitty space. So airflow is not the greatest in there, but we are going to enjoy it. We're not going to worry about it. The little bees up there keep taking care of them. So as long as the bees keeps taking care of them, we will keep harvesting them. In the front, I tried to grow bush wax beans. It was a new variety. Y'all, I didn't like it. When they finally did come in, the bugs had already eaten them up. So I only got 1 or 2 here or there. I've been pretty much just letting them die. But I mean, there's some here. I'm just not happy with them. I got an eggplant back there that's trying to size up. There's 1 or 2 onions still in this bed here. What else is going on over here? I had extra cabbage early in the season, y'all. I put a little cabbage down here. Y'all, that little cabbage is tiny, but it's mighty because it's nice and firm. What else is over here? A volunteer tomato plant is back here as well. I already know that these are black cherry tomatoes. More onion in the front that I need to take care of. Moving back to this bed here, along with these rattlesnake beans, I have my cucumbers growing back here and some really big rattlesnake beans. Let's see. Mom's been harvesting, so I don't know if she harvested any of these or not. I didn't even look yet because I came in last night after midnight and I went straight to bed. Right here, I am growing more squash in this space here. Mom's didn't harvest anything from here. At least she didn't mention it. But there's little squash growing in here. Okra and okra. It's a little late this year, but there are little okra plants on there. There's a bloom right there. More blooms getting ready to open up there. Cucumbers are doing really well, mostly pickling cucumbers in this space here. And then on the back side here, I have some melons growing. There's a melon. There's another melon right there. And then, of course, cucumbers have kind of taken over the whole show over here. I still have cabbage in the front here. 2 or 3 heads left of cabbage. I've harvested a lot of cabbage, and we've enjoyed a lot of cabbage. I'm going to swing on around here. Got broccoli growing over here. And this is that purple sprouting broccoli, y'all. It's just getting taller and taller. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I'm just going to let it grow because I'm not using that space for anything. But you can see it's towering over the rest of the broccoli that I have growing here. I have been harvesting side shoots, but when you're away for a week, those side shoots flower. I have to harvest at least once a week. And y'all, it's not a lot, but it's enough to add to stir-fried zucchini or a stir-fried vegetable meal, right? I'm not going to get a full meal by itself. Now, these are my spring broccoli. I will be planting more for a fall harvest of the bigger heads. So my goal is just to keep eating broccoli and not have to buy it. I'll keep moving over here. There's that bonanza zucchini right there. Not zucchini, eggplant. In the bottom here, let's see what we got going on. There was a zucchini in here when I left, and it's not here now. That means Mom got it. And there was also, and it's gone now, there was also a melon on here when I left last week. I don't know where that melon went. I wanted to show it to you, but it's not here anymore. So I don't know if Mom harvested it thinking it was a zucchini or if an animal took it. There's a paprika right there. I think that's Hungarian paprika. Where's the other thing I wanted to show you? And right here are some shishitos. And the tomato plants were all dead, y'all. They were just like done. And now I got brand new tomato greenery and stems, brand new flowers. So I think it's getting ready to take off again for like the 3rd time. Strawberries are blooming again now that the temperatures are kind of quietening down a little bit. The main thing when it's super hot, y'all, with my strawberries is you just have to keep watering. Keep watering, keep watering, keep watering, and then you'll get something like this. Now, this one's not ready to harvest, but you can see that they're still doing what they need to do. There's been a season, and I'm not joking, y'all, that I'm doing good to water the rest of the garden, so I'll skip the strawberries and not water them, and it actually suffers, right? It causes them to suffer. They start really dying out. They don't stay green all season. But this year, I've been doing better, making sure everything's watered. And we've been getting onesies and twosies of strawberries, and I'm starting to see more blooms now that it's cooling off a little bit more. So there are more strawberries in the future. I'm going to step back so you can see this. In this bed right here, y'all, this is also a melon bed. And I have quite a few melons growing in here. I'll come up close so you can see them. I think it's 3 or 4 different varieties. I don't know for sure what the varieties are, and I don't want to mess around those wet plants to find out. When we go to harvest, I'll definitely let you know what variety we're harvesting. So I got some little baby ones, and I got a pretty nice size one there. There's another one right beside it there. I'm over to the back side now. There's one. There's another one right there. And another one right there. So I think we're going to do pretty good this year from a melon standpoint. I was trying to train it up this trellis here and across the back of this trellis. But yeah, it's doing what it wants to do. That's fine. I just don't want to step on it and then I mess the vine up and then I lose the opportunity to have another melon. Oh, Also, down here in this bed here, I had a volunteer fingerling potato that's been volunteering now for a few years. I'm going to try to pull it out as long as I'm not disturbing the roots of the melon. I'll do it, but if it looks like I'm going to have to disturb the roots of the melon, it's just going to have to sit here to the end of the season. I got over 5 pounds of fingerling potatoes last year from this spot. I think these are my last 2 apples in the garden. I got one on that side and one on that side. These are Pink Lady. This is only the second year I've had this tree. I really wasn't expecting any. And I think the only reason I have those 2 is because the squirrels don't know that they're there. Over here is my zucchini bed that I tell you, every time we come out here, we think we've got them all. We realize we've missed some. So there's some zucchini there. This is the bed I'm growing only my favorite zucchini in. Oh, I can see Mom tried to harvest and she broke one off. She said she harvested, but she didn't say that it broke. But there's only a piece of it right there left. So it must, she said it was huge. So it probably broke when she was trying to get it off. But there's another one right beside it. And then honestly, y'all, this bed right here, there's another one in there, has 3 zucchini plants in it, and I knew that it was going to expand bigger than that fire ring. It's a new spot for us this year. And that's where the majority of the zucchini has been coming from. We finally got all of the onion out of this GreenStalk right here. And now we're just harvesting whatever's here that wants to be harvested. There are cucumbers here. The tomatoes are pretty much done. Miss Pam broke those off for me and got all of the dead pieces out, which is great. There's a cucumber right there. There is a cabbage growing in here as well. I got some kale. And let's see what else is in here. I was trying to grow lettuce. Either it didn't come up, which I don't think it did. Oh no. Y'all, we miss cucumbers. No one harvested those. Those are not going to be edible. They are too big. But they were hidden and nobody knew that they were there. I think that's really it right now. Nothing special going on over here in this GreenStalk. I'm going to turn just behind me here. And this GreenStalk here, I call this my melon GreenStalk. And y'all, I'm worried that these melons are going to be gone too, but I'm scared to look. But we're going to look anyway. In the top, we had green beans growing. There's still 1 or 2 little green beans up there. But below there, outside of the flowers, I'm only growing melon. And when I left, there were 3 over here. Oh, I don't see any. Keep looking. Oh, there's one. So there's a melon growing right there. But I only see 1 now. Question is, what happened to the other 2? It did a disappearing act. You know, and here's the thing, y'all. Melons look a lot like round zucchini if you don't know what was planted somewhere. So I'm hoping no one picked it. Well, honestly, I would prefer we picked it versus an animal got it, but at least there's 1 there, right? This was an experiment. We wanted to see how many melon we could grow in this GreenStalk. And the only thing we had in this GreenStalk were flowers, melons, and in the very top green beans. So we will just keep a watch out and we'll see how it's doing. My biggest issue is making sure that it doesn't get pulled off as I'm spinning it so it can enjoy the sunlight. Now, I think I've talked about everything. I think I have this early Saturday morning walk through the garden. Y'all, it's a beautiful day out here for now. And the rain is not done by any means. It was very clear that I'm going to experience some more rain today. So I think I need to stop talking about the garden and start working in the garden. So we're going to end this video right here. Thank you for hanging out with me. You've now seen the entire Kim's Cozy Corner garden from end to end. So until next time, and I hope there'll be a next time that you choose to hang out with me at Kim's Cozy Corner. Talk to you again soon, everybody. Bye.